The porch light was broken, not flickering, not dim, just dead. And yet he left it on anyway. A single man, a tiny coffee shop, a busted light that couldn't shine, and a little girl who appeared in front of it with nothing but a camera and no place to go. This isn't a story about heroes or miracles. It's about a man who fixes bikes and accidentally learns how to fix something much harder. If quiet, honest stories like this speak to you, go ahead and tap like. Hit subscribe. It helps us keep the porch light on for stories that matter. The first thing you notice about the shop is that it shouldn't even exist on a street lined with polished cafes and glossy boutiques. Stands Fix and Sip, a stubborn little place that looks like it belongs in a different decade. Faded wooden sign, hand-painted letters, a crooked neon light that buzzes more often than it glows. It's part coffee shop, part repair shop. The front half smells like fresh espresso. The back half smells like motor oil, sawdust, and maybe a hint of regret. Inside, a man wipes down a scratched wooden counter. Ethan Reyes, 32, tall, lean. T-shirt, faded jeans, flannel tied around his waist. His dark hair always looks one haircut away from decent, but he never quite gets there. His hands are strong, the kind that know how to fix things, bikes, radios, broken coffee grinders, even a toaster if you ask nicely. But some things are not so easy to fix. A soft bell jingles above the door, not because anyone walks in, but because the wind pushes it. Ethan glances up. No customer, just the wind. He goes back to wiping the counter. His movements are slow, methodical, like a man who has nowhere else to be and no one waiting for him. At the far corner of the shop, a little boy is hunched over a notebook, pencil in hand, his brow furrowed in quiet determination. Noah, 7 years old, Ethan's son. There's something both heartbreaking and heartwarming about the way Noah concentrates. Sketching two stick figures holding hands. One wears glasses, the other holds a wrench. Ethan watches for a moment, then quietly returns to cleaning, pretending not to notice. A customer walks in. Mrs. Danner, late 60s, retired school teacher. She brings in the same broken radio every month. Not because it's truly broken, but because she likes having someone to talk to. Ethan smiles politely, takes the radio, promises to take a look. They both know it works just fine. As she leaves, Noah pipes up, voice soft but curious. "Dad, why do people fix things that already work?" Ethan doesn't answer right away. He sets the radio on the workbench, tightens a screw that doesn't need tightening, then says, "Sometimes, fixing things isn't about the thing." Noah blinks. "Huh?" Ethan gives a crooked smile. "You'll get it when you're older." The clock ticks. The coffee machine hisses. Outside, the breeze carries the smell of salt water from the bay. Another ordinary day. Or it should have been. Ethan steps outside to hang the open sign properly. The string always slips loose. He adjusts it, then steps back to check if it's level. That's when he sees her. A tiny figure, standing across the street. A girl, maybe 5, maybe 6, wearing an oversized yellow hoodie. Hood up, sleeves dangling past her hands. Her sneakers are untied. Her hair's a mess, but what stands out isn't her appearance. It's the fact that she's just standing there, not moving, not crying, not looking for anyone, just staring. In her hands, a small, battered Polaroid camera. Ethan frowns, looks left, looks right. No adult in sight, no stroller, no frantic parent. The girl lifts the camera, slowly, deliberately, and takes a photo. The instant mechanical click echoes louder than it should. The photo spits out. She watches it develop, tilting her head, like she's checking if the world makes sense, Ethan blinks, half wants to laugh, half feels a knot tighten in his chest. Noah appears behind him. "Who's that?" Ethan shakes his head. "I don't know." The girl doesn't move, doesn't cross the street. She just holds the photo close to her chest, like it's the most precious thing she owns. And then, for the first time, she looks directly at Ethan. There's something in her eyes, not fear, not confusion, but a quiet, heavy, knowing, as if, somehow, she was always meant to end up here. Ethan isn't the kind of man who meddles. He knows better. Life has taught him that some things are safer left alone. People, their problems, their storms. But this feels different. The little girl across the street hasn't moved. She stands still, hands clutching the Polaroid photo, gaze locked on him like he's supposed to do something. No traffic, no parents, no sound except the distant hum of the ocean and the soft creak of his shop's sign swaying in the wind. Noah tugs his sleeve. "Dad, should we?" Ethan hesitates. Half a second, then crosses the street. As he gets closer, details come into focus. The girl's hoodie is frayed at the cuffs. There's a smudge of dirt on one cheek. Her shoes, one untied, the other missing a lace entirely. Her hair is tangled, her lips slightly chapped. But her posture, perfectly still, like a statue carved out of something softer than stone, but heavier than fear. Ethan stops a few feet away, keeps his voice low, steady. The kind of voice you use when approaching a stray cat or a scared kid. "Hey there, you okay?" No answer. She tightens her grip on the photo, looks down at it, then back up at him. Ethan kneels, makes himself small, non-threatening. "My name's Ethan. I run that shop over there." He jerks his thumb toward the cafe. "You waiting for someone?" The girl's eyes flick toward the empty street, then shake, barely left to right. Ethan notices her breathing, shallow, controlled, not panicked, but deliberate. The kind of breathing people do when they're holding something in. "Are you lost?" he asks gently. Her voice is barely audible, a whisper scraped against the edges of silence. "No." That surprises him. Not lost, but clearly not where she's supposed to be. "Okay, fair." He rubs the back of his neck. "Is there someone I can call? A parent? Anyone?" She glances down, not at the ground, but at the camera, runs her thumb along the scratched plastic surface. Then, after a long pause, she extends the photo toward him. Ethan takes it. The image is grainy, faded at the edges, but clear enough. A woman. Early 30s, long hair pulled into a messy bun, laugh lines around her eyes. She's smiling, holding the little girl in her arm, somewhere by the ocean. No names, no context, just a memory, frozen. "This your mom?" Ethan asks. The girl nods. Once. Sharp. "Where is she now?" No answer. Ethan lets out a slow breath, looks around again. The street is empty. A jogger passes 2 blocks down but doesn't glance their way. Life moves, oblivious. "All right." He stands, brushing off his jeans. "Tell you what, how about we head inside? Get you something warm. We'll figure it out." For a moment she doesn't move, doesn't blink, just watches him, testing, weighing. Then she follows, tiny footsteps trailing behind him. Not close, not far, just cautious. Noah holds the door open, eyes wide, curious but quiet, like he knows instinctively that this isn't the time for questions. Ethan gestures to the counter stool. "Take a seat. You want, hot chocolate? Cocoa?" The girl nods, small, grateful but guarded. As he steams milk and stirs cocoa powder, he watches her. how her eyes scan every corner of the shop, how her fingers drum against the camera, never letting go. When he slides the mug over, her hands tremble just slightly as she grips it. "Do you have a name?" he asks, softer now. A pause, then, "Sophie." "Sophie," Ethan repeats like tasting the word. "That's a good name." Noah edges closer, sitting beside her. "I'm Noah." Sophie doesn't answer, but the corner of her mouth twitches. Not quite a smile. Not yet, but close. Ethan leans on the counter. "All right, Sophie. Let's figure this out. Step 1, stay warm. Step 2, figure out where you belong." Sophie sips the cocoa for the first time. Her shoulders loosen, just a little. On the wall behind the counter, the neon sign flickers back to life. "Fix and sip. We fix bikes, and maybe other things too." Ethan doesn't notice, but Sophie does. She quietly raises the camera. Click. A flash. Another photo slides out. She watches it develop. Ethan catches her looking at it, but she tucks it away before he can see. For now, it's hers alone. The thing about silence is that it's not always empty. Sometimes, it holds more than words ever could. Sophie sits on the worn leather stool, hands cupped around the mug of hot cocoa. Her fingers are small, too small for the size of the cup, but she holds it like it's the only thing keeping her anchored. Ethan watches from behind the counter, not staring, not prying, just noticing. He's good at noticing. Years of fixing broken things has taught him that the cracks are always there, if you know where to look. Sophie's eyes never stay still. They scan the shelves lined with mismatched coffee mugs, the cluttered workbench, the crooked bulletin board with faded photos of bikes, families, and one smiling golden retriever that's been gone for years. She doesn't speak. She doesn't ask questions. But she sees everything. Noah slides a coloring book in front of her, open to a page with an unfinished drawing of a lighthouse. He pushes a box of crayons toward her, then glances at his dad like asking for silent permission. Ethan nods, barely noticeable. Sophie looks down at the page, fingers hesitate, then she picks the gray crayon, starts filling in the clouds, no blue, no sun, just clouds. Ethan turns back to the espresso machine, pretends to clean it, pretends not to watch, but he listens to the quiet scrape of crayon on paper, to Noah humming under his breath, to the soft clink of Sophie's camera strap tapping against the counter as it swings gently from her neck. Minutes pass, maybe 5, maybe 20. Time feels different here. Finally, Sophie pauses, sets the crayon down. Without looking at anyone, she reaches for the camera. Click. The flash startles Noah, who laughs, just a little. Sophie doesn't smile, but something in her shoulders relaxes. The photo slips out. She waves it once, twice, then lays it face down on the counter. Ethan eyes it, but doesn't flip it over. Not his, not yet. "Pretty cool camera," he says, soft, careful. "It's old," Sophie replies, voice like paper, thin but steady. "Yeah," Ethan chuckles. "Old things have a way of lasting longer than they should." Noah leans in. "Can I see?" Sophie pauses, then, surprising even herself, slides the photo toward him. Noah flips it, grins. "It's the lighthouse." Ethan leans over. Sure enough, the photo is of the coloring page, the lighthouse, half filled with gray clouds, a tiny yellow dot at the top, the beacon. Sophie doesn't explain it, doesn't need to. Ethan gets it. Some things are surrounded by storms, but the light stays on. Silence settles again, but this time, it feels different, less heavy, less strange. The clock ticks. The smell of fresh coffee mingles with cocoa. Outside, gulls cry over the bay. The world keeps moving. But inside this little shop, something has shifted. Ethan breaks the quiet, almost without meaning to. "You hungry?" Sophie nods, a small, cautious nod. He walks to the back, returns with a peanut butter sandwich, cut diagonally, because Noah insists it tastes better that way. Places it in front of her without a word. Sophie studies it, then takes a bite. Crumbs gather at the corner of her mouth. She wipes them with her sleeve, doesn't thank him, doesn't apologize, just eats. Ethan doesn't mind. Gratitude isn't always something you say out loud. Sometimes it's just finishing the sandwich. When she's done, she slides the empty plate back, looks up. "Do you fix cameras?" Ethan blinks. Maybe. What's wrong with it?" Sophie holds up the Polaroid. "Nothing. Yet." Ethan stares for a second, then nods. "Well, let me know if it ever breaks." Sophie doesn't smile, but she looks lighter. For a while, they just sit. No questions about why she's here. No talk about missing persons, no assumptions. Just a man, a boy, and a girl with a camera, sharing a table under the hum of a crooked neon sign. Outside, the wind shifts. The clouds part just a little. A sliver of sunlight slips through, catching on the window. It lights up the wall behind them, where an old photo hangs, faded, cracked, a picture of Ethan, younger, standing beside a woman who isn't here anymore. Both of them laughing, holding a newborn in their arms. Sophie glances at it, says nothing, but her eyes linger, longer than necessary, because even without words, some stories are easy to read. The next morning starts, the same way every morning does, with the hiss of the espresso machine, the smell of salt in the breeze, and the quiet hum of tires rolling over wet pavement. Except today isn't the same, not even close. Ethan stands behind the counter staring at his phone, thumb hovering over a number he hasn't dialed in years. Noah sits at the table, building a spaceship out of Legos, and Sophie, she's perched at the window seat, knees tucked under her chin, camera in her lap, eyes scanning, watching, waiting. For what? Ethan isn't sure. He sighs, hits the call button. A few rings, then a voice, familiar, flat. "Monterey Police Department, Officer Sanders speaking." Ethan clears his throat. "Hey, it's Ethan Reyes, down at Fix and Sip." There's a pause, a beat of recognition. "Reyes, been a while, everything okay?" "Not really." "Yeah, I mean, maybe. Listen, I've got a situation." He glances at Sophie, still staring out the window. "There's a kid here. Showed up yesterday. No shoes, no ID, no backpack, just herself. Says her name's Sophie." Another pause, the sound of keys clacking in the background. You reported yesterday?" "No, not yet. Figured maybe a parent would come knocking, but nothing." Sanders exhales. "All right, let me check something real quick." Silence. Ethan drums his fingers on the counter, looks over. Noah waves a Lego figure at Sophie. She doesn't react, but she doesn't pull away either. Progress? Maybe. The officer comes back. Nothing. No missing person report, not in the county, not matching her description. Ethan frowns. "You serious?" "Dead serious. Checked state database too. Nobody's reported a girl named Sophie missing in the last 72 hours. Not here. Not nearby." Ethan rubs his face. This doesn't make sense. Could she be from farther out? Possible. But if so, no one's looking yet. That sits wrong. Heavy. Sanders adds, Softer now. You want me to send someone over? Ethan glances at Sophie again. Her tiny fingers are fiddling with the edge of her hoodie, rolling the fabric between her thumb and forefinger, over and over, like a nervous habit. No, Ethan says quietly. Not yet. Let me figure it out. All right, keep me posted. Ethan hangs up, pockets the phone. Silence fills the shop. But it isn't awkward, it's expectant, like the air before a storm. Noah breaks it first. Did you find her family? Ethan shakes his head. No. Noah frowns. Maybe. She doesn't have one. The words hit harder than they should. Ethan doesn't reply. Sophie doesn't turn. But her voice floats over, barely above a whisper. I do. Both Ethan and Noah look at her. But she doesn't explain, doesn't offer more, just keeps watching. Ethan sighs, wipes his hands on a rag, leans on the counter. Well, until we figure it out, you're safe here. Sophie doesn't answer, but her grip on the camera loosens, just slightly. Outside, a delivery truck passes, its reflection ripples across the shop window. Ethan glances at the open sign, crooked again. He steps out, adjusts it, straightens it. From the corner of his eye, he catches movement. Sophie, camera raised, click, the photo spits out. She holds it, watches it develop, doesn't show it to anyone. Ethan smiles, barely, heads back inside. Whatever this is, it's just beginning. And already, he has a sinking feeling. This is no ordinary lost kid story. The rain starts, slow, soft, barely more than mist drifting in from the bay. Inside Fix and Sip, the world feels smaller, quieter, like a snow globe someone forgot to shake. Ethan is at the workbench, sleeves rolled up, hands deep inside the guts of an old cassette player. The thing's a mess. Frayed wires, corroded contacts, a belt that snapped years ago. But Ethan works like it still has a future. Sophie watches from the corner, knees pulled to her chest, camera resting in her lap. She hasn't said much all morning, but her eyes, they never stop moving. Ethan wipes his hands, grabs a screwdriver, starts prying loose a rusted panel. The metal groans in protest. Sophie shifts, hugs the camera tighter, then, quietly. Why fix it? Ethan glances over, raises a brow. Because it's broken. Sophie tilts her head, not convinced. But nobody uses those anymore. Nobody wants it. Ethan chuckles under his breath, sits back. Looks at the old cassette deck like it's an old friend who just won't quit. Yeah, maybe, but someone did once. He taps the side of the machine. This thing probably played love songs, birthday mixtapes, maybe even someone's wedding speech. Just because people forget doesn't mean it didn't matter. Sophie thinks about that, absorbs it, rolls it around in her head like a marble. Do you fix everything? The question lands heavier than it should. Ethan doesn't answer right away, tightens a screw that doesn't need tightening. I try, he says eventually. Doesn't always work. Silence again, but not empty. More like respectful. Noah walks by, drops a peanut butter cracker in front of Sophie, doesn't say anything, just offers it like a peace treaty. Sophie stares at it, then picks it up, nibbles the corner. Ethan keeps working. Wires, solder, patience, all the things that hold broken pieces together. Did you fix Noah? Sophie asks suddenly. Ethan's hands freeze. He looks up, meets her gaze. For a second, he thinks about lying, about making it simple, but her eyes won't let him. No, he says softly. No, I didn't. Sophie blinks, frowns. But he's not broken. Ethan smiles, sad, honest. Exactly. Outside, the rain picks up, a steady rhythm against the window. Inside, something shifts, something small, but real. Sophie lowers the camera, lets it rest against her knees for the first time since she walked in. Her hands are empty. Ethan notices, doesn't say it out loud, but he notices. He wipes his hands, leans back in the chair. You know, he starts, some things you don't fix because they're broken. You fix them because they deserve another chance. Sophie doesn't answer, but she looks different, not smiling, not yet, but something softer edges the lines of her face. She reaches for a crayon Noah left behind, starts drawing on a napkin, slow, careful, a camera, a shop window, and a tiny crooked sign. Ethan catches a glimpse, pretends not to. The cassette player clicks, whirs, a miracle. It starts spinning. Ethan grins. Look at that. Still got some fight left in it. Sophie glances at him. For a moment, the corners of her mouth twitch. Barely, and for now, that's enough. Night settles over the town, soft and heavy. The kind of night where the sky isn't black, but deep navy. Where the clouds hang low, but hold back the rain. Inside Fix and Sip, the world feels smaller, safer. Noah's already fallen asleep on the couch, his head buried beneath a blanket. Legos still scattered on the coffee table. Ethan stands by the counter, drying a chipped coffee mug, watching the steam curl from the kettle like lazy ghosts. And Sophie, she's by the window, knees pulled up to her chest, camera resting in her lap, like always. But tonight, she isn't watching the street, not scanning, not searching. She's looking at the porch light. It's old, crooked. The bulb hums, flickers, then steadies. Soft, warm, imperfect, but constant. Ethan notices her gaze, doesn't say anything, just keeps drying the mug. Minutes pass like that, quiet, uncomplicated, then click. The sound is small, but it fills the room. Sophie lowers the camera, holds the fresh photo in both hands, watching as the image fades into focus. Ethan glances over. What is it this time? Sophie doesn't answer right away, tilts the photo, catches it in the glow of the lamp. Then, almost shy, she slides it across the table. Ethan picks it up. It's the porch light, nothing else. Just that crooked bulb, framed by peeling wood and shadows. But the way it glows in the picture, soft, steady, feels bigger than it should. Like a lighthouse for someone lost. Ethan sets the photo down, runs a thumb along the edge. Nice shot. Sophie hugs her knees tighter, voice so quiet, he almost doesn't catch it. It's safe. Ethan looks at her, really looks. Not just a lost kid anymore, not just a mystery waiting to be solved, but a person, small, fragile, brave. Yeah, he nods. Yeah, it is. The wind shifts, the porch sign creaks. Somewhere in the distance, a foghorn groans low and steady. Sophie fiddles with the strap of her camera, looks down. Can I stay here? Just tonight? The words hang there, soft, heavy. Ethan doesn't answer right away, rubs the back of his neck, glances at Noah, sleeping, peaceful, then back at Sophie. Yeah, he says finally. Yeah, you can. Her shoulders drop. Not much, but enough. Like for the first time in a long time, something unclenches. Ethan grabs an extra pillow from the storage bench, tosses a folded blanket onto the couch. Couch is yours. Not fancy, but soft enough. Sophie slides off the window seat, pads over. Her footsteps are light, careful, like she's still waiting for someone to tell her no. She curls up, pulls the blanket over her shoulders. For a long minute, neither of them speaks. Then, from under the blanket, do porch lights ever turn off? Ethan leans against the counter, crosses his arms. Sometimes, he says, burn out, get knocked loose. Storms take 'em down. Sophie's voice is smaller now. But do you fix them? Ethan smiles, soft, gentle. Yeah, I fix 'em. Sophie doesn't reply, just breathes. Her hands loosen. The camera rests against her chest, but for the first time, she's not holding it like armor. Outside, the porch light hums, flickers, then steadies, a small, stubborn kind of glow. Morning comes quietly, the sky is brushed with gray, the kind that never fully commits to rain, but never promises sun either. Inside Fix and Sip, it smells like coffee, dust, and something faintly sweet. Ethan flips the open sign, crooked again, adjusts it out of habit. Noah's at the counter munching cereal straight from the box. Sophie, still curled on the couch, half awake. Her camera rests on her chest, the strap tangled around her fingers like a safety rope. Ethan leans against the doorway, sips his coffee, lets the quiet settle, until he hears it, a low hum. Tires on gravel, too smooth, too precise. Not the sound of an old truck, not local. He steps onto the porch. A gray Tesla Model X glides to a stop right in front of the shop. Sleek, immaculate, out of place. The door swings open before the wheels even stop moving. And then, her, a woman, mid-30s, designer trench coat, hair pulled back tight, eyes wild, breath short, hands shaking as she slams the car door and storms toward the shop. Ethan stiffens. Instinct flares. She's not from here. Doesn't belong to the slow rhythm of this town. Her heels click against the pavement like a metronome set too fast. Her voice cuts the air. Sophie! The name snaps like a whip. Inside, Sophie jolts upright, her eyes go wide. Panic floods her face. She scrambles off the couch, clutching her camera like it's the only thing that matters. Noah stares. Who? Ethan doesn't answer, steps halfway down the porch, raises a hand, calm, firm. Ma'am, you okay? She doesn't slow. Where is she? Where's my daughter? Ethan's jaw tightens. Hold on, slow down. Who are... I'm her mother. Her voice cracks. Where is she? Sophie! From behind him, a tiny whisper. No! Ethan turns. Sophie stands frozen in the doorway, pale, trembling. Her lips barely move. No, no, no. The woman, Ava, pushes past Ethan, storms toward the entrance. Sophie, baby, it's me. It's Mommy. Sophie backs away, steps shaking, shakes her head hard. No, no! Ava stops, blinks like someone just slapped her. Sophie, what are you doing? It's me. You're coming home. Ethan steps between them, calm, controlled, but there's steel under his voice now. Look, I don't know who you are, but you need to take a breath. Ava stares at him, eyes narrowing. And you are... What? What is this? Some random guy you think you can just keep her? Ethan holds up both hands. No one's keeping anyone. Kid showed up here, in the rain, alone. You weren't here. Ava's breathing spikes. She runs both hands through her hair, pacing, shaking. You don't understand. You don't know what's going on. Inside, Sophie curls into the corner of the couch, camera tight to her chest, eyes wide, lips trembling, but not crying. Noah stands beside her, quiet, protective, like he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Ethan lowers his voice. Then help me understand. Ava stops, stares at Sophie. Her face twists, equal parts desperation and disbelief. I've been looking for you, her voice breaks. For 2 days, you were right there. And then, her hands drop, her voice collapses into a whisper. And then you were gone. Silence. Thick. Heavy. Ethan glances between them. The broken lines. The distance measured not in feet, but in something heavier. Then, softer than air, Sophie speaks. I wasn't lost. Ava flinches, like the words hit harder than any scream. And Ethan realizes, whatever this is, whatever happened before, it's more than just a lost child. The air inside the shop turns heavier, like someone turned up gravity. Ava stands near the doorway, breathing sharp, hands clenched. Her expensive coat now feels out of place, too clean, too perfect for a place like this. Sophie doesn't move, curled against the arm of the couch, knees pulled tight. Camera pressed so hard to her chest, Ethan worries it might crack. Noah stays by her side, not holding her, not touching, just standing, silent, solid, like a tiny wall between her and the world. Ethan steps forward, palms up, calm but firm. Look, you need to slow down. Ava snaps. Slow down! My daughter disappeared for 2 days. 2 days! I've torn the entire state apart looking for her. Her voice trembles, part fury, part collapse. And I find her here with you. Ethan doesn't flinch. She showed up, alone, in the rain. No shoes, no backpack. No one looking. What exactly do you expect me to do? Turn her out? Ava paces, hands pulling through her hair, jaw clenched tight enough to crack. I expect you to stay out of things that aren't yours. Ethan's voice flattens. She became mine, the second no one else was there. Silence. Thick, ugly. Ava turns, faces Sophie. Drops her voice softer now. Sweetheart, baby, come on. Let's go, please. Let's just go home. But Sophie doesn't move. Doesn't blink. Her voice is quiet, but sharper than broken glass. This is home. Ava staggers like someone punched the air out of her. No, no, no. You don't mean that. She steps forward, but Sophie scoots back, clutches her camera tighter. No. Ethan holds up a hand. Hey, back off. You're scaring her. Ava spins on him. I'm her mother. Yeah? Ethan's jaw tightens. Then why is she acting like I'm the safer one? The words slap the air between them. Ava's face crumples, rage, grief, shame. All trying to wear the same mask at once. You don't know anything about us. Then tell me. Ethan shoots back. Help me understand why a 6-year-old shows up in a storm. And her first words aren't, help me find my mom. They're just nothing. Ava presses both palms to her forehead. Her voice fractures. It's complicated. Ethan breathes in, slow, steady, crosses his arms. Yeah, looks like it. Sophie's voice cuts through, tiny but steady. I didn't get lost. Both adults freeze. Turn. Sophie looks at Ava, straight, direct, no fear, just something older than a child should ever have to carry. You left. Ava's knees almost buckle. She grips the counter like it's the only solid thing left. No, I didn't leave you. It wasn't like that. Her hands tremble. She stares at Sophie, then at Ethan, then back again. Ethan watches. All the pieces are here, scattered, fractured, a puzzle dumped out, but no picture on the box to follow. Ava swallows, breath shaky. There was an accident. I hit something. I blacked out. When I woke up, you were gone. I thought... Her voice collapses. I thought someone took you. Sophie says nothing, just hugs her knees tighter. Ava steps forward, voice cracking. Please, baby, come home, please. But Sophie shakes her head, one sharp motion. No, no, I don't. I don't trust you. Silence. Again. Ethan finally speaks. Maybe this isn't the time to force it. Ava's eyes snap to him. And you think you know better? No, Ethan answers. Steady, quiet. I don't, but I know scared when I see it. And right now, she's terrified. Of you. Ava crumbles back against the counter, hands shaking. I just want her safe. Ethan's voice softens. She is. Right now, she is. No one says anything for a long time. Just the hum of the neon light, the distant cry of seagulls, and the soft, slow breathing of a little girl, trying to decide if the world can be trusted again. Silence isn't always absence. Sometimes it's a presence. Heavy, waiting. Ava sinks onto the edge of the counter, elbows on her knees, face buried in her hands. Her breaths are short, shaky, uneven. Sophie stays pressed against the couch, curled tight, watching, guarded, small, but not broken. Noah stands between them, unsure, chewing the edge of his sleeve like he does when the tension's too thick for a 7-year-old to cut through. Ethan leans against the wall, arms folded, jaw clenched, but he doesn't speak, doesn't move. Lets it breathe, lets it settle. For a moment, no one knows what happens next. Then Sophie shifts, slowly, carefully, reaches for the camera that's been glued to her side since the day she walked in. She pulls a photo from her pocket, faded, edges bent. But this one isn't new. This one was taken before all this. She doesn't say anything, just holds it, looks at it, fingers tracing the corners. Then, slowly, she slides it across the coffee table. Ethan is the one who picks it up. At first glance, it's messy, off-center. Half of the frame is someone's shoulder, the edge of a car, a blurry hand mid-motion. But the focus, accidental or not, is on the middle. Ava. Not like now, not frantic, not falling apart, but distant, distracted, phone to her ear, shoulders tense, eyes somewhere else. Anywhere else but down, and just barely. In the bottom corner. Sophie, sitting, alone, small, waiting, camera in her lap, watching her own mother, waiting for something that never came. It's not a perfect photo, it's not posed, it's not meant to be anything. But it says everything. Ethan feels the weight of it in his hand, a snapshot of something broken, before anyone realized it was broken. He glances at Sophie. Her eyes don't meet his, but her fingers twist in the fabric of her sleeve. Ava leans forward, sees the photo, freezes. For a long second, she doesn't breathe, doesn't move. Then, softly, Where did you? Her voice cracks. Sophie hugs her knees tighter. I took it. The day before. Ava reaches out, touches the corner of the photo. Her fingers tremble. I didn't know. Her words crumble, fall apart before they even finish forming. Ethan looks at her, not angry, not accusing, just tired. Yeah, that's the problem. Ava pulls her hand back, buries her face again. I didn't know. I didn't see. Sophie's voice is barely a whisper. You never see. The words aren't cruel, they aren't thrown like stones, they're just true. Ethan sets the photo down, face up, doesn't hide it, doesn't turn it over, just lets it be seen. The neon sign flickers behind him. The porch light hums outside. A seagull cries somewhere over the bay, but no one fills the silence, because sometimes Silence is the only thing honest enough to stay. Sophie finally speaks. I wasn't lost. I was waiting, but no one came. Her fingers tighten around the camera strap. Her voice stays even, steady, like someone who's rehearsed this in her head 1,000 times but never said it out loud until now. And when I stopped waiting, I walked. Ava lifts her head, red-eyed, raw. I didn't know. Baby, I swear, I didn't know. Sophie stares at her, long, quiet. Ugh. That's worse. The sentence lands like a weight dropped on a table, heavy, unmovable. Ava folds in on herself, shoulders collapsing inward, hands shaking. I know. No excuses, no explanations, just the hollow echo of realizing, too late. Ethan steps back, runs a hand over his face, lets out a long breath. All right. His voice is low, rough around the edges. I don't know what happens next, but right now, everyone breathes. He points toward the coffee machine. I'm making coffee. Anyone wants to scream, cry, or run, do it after caffeine. Noah lets out a tiny breath. Not a laugh. Not really, but close enough. Sophie doesn't move, but for the first time. She loosens her grip on the camera, lets it rest against her chest instead of clutching it like armor. Outside, the porch light flickers, then steadies. The coffee machine hums. Steam hisses. The smell of dark roast cuts through the weight in the air, but it doesn't chase it away. Ethan hands a mug to Ava, another to Sophie. Mostly milk, just a hint of coffee. Noah doesn't ask for one, just quietly crunches on a leftover granola bar, watching, listening. For a long time, no one speaks. Then, Ava does. But her voice is smaller, tired, stripped of the sharp edges it had when she first burst through the door. You don't know how complicated this is. Ethan leans against the counter, crosses his arms. Try me. Ava stares into the mug, swirls the coffee like the answer might be hiding at the bottom. I wasn't looking for Sophie because of some random accident. She sucks in a breath. I was running. Sophie doesn't flinch, just watches, silent. Ava's hands tremble. She places the cup down, carefully like it might shatter. My family. She presses her thumb to her temple as if the right words hurt to pull out. They're powerful. Obscene levels of power, money, influence. Name a tool, they own it. Name a person, they probably own them too. Ethan says nothing, but his eyes narrow, listening, deeper now. Ava keeps going. My father, Julian Mercer, he's not just some businessman, he's the kind of man who never lets go of what's his, not people, not companies, not daughters. Her voice breaks. Or granddaughters. Sophie grips her camera tighter. Ava looks at Ethan, direct, honest. Or maybe just too tired to lie anymore. I was leaving, really leaving. I'd spent years thinking I could carve a little space, build something that was mine, that Sophie was mine, but it was never that simple. Her voice lowers. He found out that I was planning to disappear, that I was filing paperwork, changing names, moving, and I knew what would come next. Ethan's jaw clenches. What would come? Ava doesn't blink. Control. The same control I grew up under, only worse, because now it's about her. Sophie's fingers twitch. Her eyes stay fixed on a crack in the floorboard. Ava swallows hard. I packed the car. I drove. Middle of the night. No destination. Just away. Her throat tightens. And somewhere between there and here, I lost her. Her hands knot together, white-knuckled. I didn't mean to. God, I didn't mean to. One second, she was sleeping in the back seat, and the next, I woke up, airbag in my face, glass everywhere. And she was gone. Her voice trembles. I thought, maybe someone took her. Maybe he found us first. I thought. She presses her palms to her eyes. I thought I'd never see her again. Silence. Heavy. Immovable. Ethan breathes slow, processing. And then you found her here. Ava lets out something between a laugh and a sob. Yeah, here, in a bike repair cafe, with a man who apparently collects broken things and puts them back together. Ethan doesn't smile, just stares at the floor. Something like that. Ava wipes her face, lowers her hands. I didn't expect this. She glances at Sophie. I didn't expect her not wanting to come back. Sophie's voice is small, not cruel, not angry, just honest. You didn't see me, even when I was there. The words are soft, but sharp enough to cut skin. Ava closes her eyes. A breath catches, then breaks. I know. Ethan pushes off the counter, crosses the room, squats next to Sophie's chair. His voice drops to something quieter. You're safe here, both of you. His eyes flick to Ava. For now. Ava nods, but her fingers tremble. For now might be all we've got. Outside, the porch light flickers, then steadies. The afternoon creeps in slow. Gray clouds gather, but hold, like the sky can't decide whether to cry or stay still. Inside Fix and Sip, the air is quieter now. Not peaceful, but quieter. Ava sits at a corner table, staring into her untouched coffee. One hand drums an uneven rhythm on the cup, a rhythm of guilt, of regret, of something she can't yet name. Ethan's at the workbench, fiddling with a broken clock radio that probably isn't worth the effort, but sometimes it's not about worth. Noah hums under his breath, building something complicated out of scrap bolts and wire. And Sophie stands near the wall, the one beside the window, the one covered in junk. At least, that's what most people would call it. Polaroids, thumbtacked to cracked wood. Old postcards, faded, yellowed. A receipt from a customer who paid an exact change and left a note. Thanks for fixing more than just my bike. And in the middle, a dented license plate. Bent, rusted. But someone, probably Ethan, had scribbled on it in Sharpie years ago. Not broken, just not new. Sophie stares at it, long, quiet, fingers tracing the edge of the photo still in her hand. The photo from earlier, the porch light, crooked, off-center, the edges smudged, the framing wrong. But it still glows, soft, warm, imperfect. Her thumb hovers over the corner, then, slowly, she moves, walks to the drawer by the counter, opens it, rummages, pulls out a pushpin. No one tells her no. No one asks what she's doing. She steps back to the wall, finds a gap between an old photo of Ethan and Noah with a busted dirt bike and a faded napkin sketch of the shop drawn by a customer long gone. Sophie presses the photo to the wall, pushes the pin through the corner, steps back, looks. It's crooked, but she doesn't fix it. Ethan notices first, lowers his screwdriver, watches. Noah looks up next, grins, doesn't say a word, but his eyes sparkle like he understands something important. Even Ava looks, and for a moment, her breath catches, because the meaning isn't hidden. It isn't subtle. Sophie doesn't say it out loud, but the message hangs there, pinned to the wall. This right here is part of my story now. Not perfect, not clean, not whole, but here, present. Ethan leans back against the counter, crosses his arms, lets out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Nice spot for it, he murmurs. Sophie doesn't reply, just stands there, hands in her pockets, head tilted, looking at it, like trying to decide if she feels a little less invisible now. Ava shifts, opens her mouth, closes it. The words are there, but tangled, not ready. Noah breaks the silence first, grins. You know, nothing on that wall's straight. Sophie glances at him. For the first time, a flicker. A tiny, tiny smile. Barely there, but real. Noah notices, leans in. It's like a rule here. If it's straight, it doesn't belong. Sophie huffs, not quite a laugh, but almost. Ethan watches. Something in his chest shifts, loosens, warms, then Sophie does something unexpected. She reaches into her pocket, pulls out another photo. Not the porch light. This one's older, faded at the edges. She stares at it, fingers trembling for half a second, then, slowly, deliberately, tears it in half. The rip is clean, sharp. She holds one half, walks to the trash, drops the other half in. The half she keeps, she tucks into the corner of the window frame, not hidden, not displayed, just there, half a picture, half a memory, half a truth. Ava watches, eyes glassy, voice barely audible. That was us, Sophie nods. Half of it still is. The sentence lands, gentle, devastating, honest. Ethan exhales, leans forward, adjusts the crooked open sign in the window, just a little more crooked. Outside, the clouds shift. A sliver of sunlight slips through, hits the porch light, makes it glow. Softer. Inside, for the first time, the silence feels less heavy. It happens slow, then, all at once. The afternoon light shifts. The sun slips behind heavy clouds, turning the sky an unsettling shade of steel gray. Inside Fix and Sip, the air is softer now. Softer, but not safe. Not yet. Ava sits across from Ethan at the far corner table. Their conversation isn't loud, but it's real. The kind of conversation two people have when there's nothing left to pretend. Noah stacks metal washers into a leaning tower on the floor. Sophie's perched on the window seat, watching the world like she always does. Camera on her knees, silent, observing. Ethan glances toward the window. Something feels wrong. A pressure in his chest, a hum under his skin. Then he hears it. Tires on gravel, heavy, deliberate. Not the smooth hum of Ava's Tesla, not the sputter of an old farm truck. Different. A low, expensive, predatory sound. Sophie stiffens first. Her fingers curl tight around the camera strap. Her breath catches, sharp, like an instinct honed long before now. Noah notices her change, follows her gaze. What? Then Ethan sees it. A black SUV. Matte. No plates on the front, windows tinted darker than legal, engine idling low, like it's not in a hurry because it never needs to be. It stops, dead center, right outside the shop. Ava's chair scrapes back, her hand flies to her mouth. Oh no! Ethan stands, slow, controlled. Who? Ava's voice is paper thin. My father's people. Outside, the SUV just sits there, waiting, watching. Then, the porch light flickers, once, twice, and goes out. Not a pop, not a bulb dying. It's cut, deliberate. The front of the shop sinks into a strange half-darkness. Shadows crawl in. The warm glow, gone. Sophie lets out a shaky whisper. The lights, off. A sentence, but more like a verdict. Ethan steps toward the door, then stops, forces himself still, hands clenched, mind spinning. Ava's breath is shallow. They found us. Noah edges closer to Sophie, his voice a dry whisper. Why's it so quiet? Ethan glances back. Stay away from the windows. His voice is low, firm, not loud, but the kind of voice that means now. Ava presses her back against the counter. Her fingers tremble as she digs through her purse, pulls out a phone. Her thumb hovers, but then stops. Ethan catches it. No, don't call anyone. If they're listening, you just told them where we are. Ava freezes, realizes, lowers the phone, like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Outside, the SUV door doesn't open, not yet. Whoever's inside isn't rushing, because they never need to. Ethan steps back, flicks the dead porch switch. Nothing. Checks the breaker by the counter, flipped, cut clean. He breathes through his teeth. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Sophie stares at the empty window. They're waiting. Ethan nods, doesn't sugarcoat it. Yeah. Ava presses a fist to her mouth. They won't come inside, not right away. That's not how they work. First, they wait. Let you panic, let you break yourself before they even knock. Her eyes dart to Sophie. Her voice trembles. We have to go. Sophie doesn't move, doesn't answer. Her eyes stay locked on the SUV. Ethan steps back from the breaker, crosses to the counter, wipes his hands on his jeans like he's gearing up to fix something no one ever taught him how to fix. His voice stays even. Options. Ava bites her lip. Out the back, through the alley. But if they followed us this far, they know the exits. Ethan finishes for her. The hum of the SUV engine is steady, like breathing. Ethan turns to Sophie. Hey. His voice drops softer. Kid, look at me. Sophie doesn't, but she hears it. You trust me? He asks. Silence. Then, a tiny nod. Barely, but there. Okay. Ethan takes a breath. Then we're gonna figure this out. The porch light stays off. For the first time since this began, the shop feels less like a safe place and more like a target. And outside, the black SUV waits, patient, unbothered, like it has all the time in the world. The SUV outside doesn't move, doesn't need to. It's the kind of silence that isn't absence, but intention. Inside. Ethan locks the back door, checks the windows, pulls the blackout curtain across the glass. His hands move with muscle memory, but his mind sprinting. Ava stands by the counter, pale, hands trembling, but clenched into fists, her breath uneven. Sophie sits on the floor, knees hugged to her chest, camera in her lap. But for once, she isn't holding it like armor, just holding it. Noah sits close, quiet, watching everyone, like waiting for someone to tell him what happens next. Ava rubs her hands down her arms, like she's cold, but it's not the weather. Her voice breaks the silence, quiet, raw. You know, her laugh is dry, bitter. I'm good at a lot of things. Ethan glances over, doesn't say anything, just listens. Ava's fingers dig into her sleeves. I can negotiate billion-dollar mergers, handle 30 lawyers at once. I can fly to Shanghai in the morning and close a deal by lunch. Her breath shakes. But I don't... She swallows. I don't know how to be someone's mom. Sophie doesn't flinch, doesn't look away, just listens. But her fingers twitch against the fabric of her jeans. Ava keeps going like the words have been dammed up for years. And now, the cracks are wide open. No one taught me how. My mother left when I was 10. My father, He taught me how to win, how to take, how to survive, but not how to hold something without breaking it. Her voice wavers. I thought giving Sophie everything, the best schools, the safest places, would be enough. She presses her palms to her eyes. I didn't realize she didn't want all that. She just wanted me to look up, to see her. Ethan leans back against the counter, crosses his arms, his voice is low. Yeah, kids'll do that. Sneak into your blind spots and wait until you notice. Ava lets out something between a breath and a sob. I didn't, not soon enough. No one answers, not right away. Because there's nothing easy to say here. No line that fixes it. Sophie's voice is the one that cuts through. Small, even, careful. You were always busy. Ava turns, drops to her knees, hands shaking. I was, and I thought it was for you. But I think it was just for me. She reaches out, doesn't touch, just lets her hand hover. I don't know how to fix this, Soph. I don't. But I don't want them to take you. Not them, not him. Her voice fractures. Don't let them take her. The sentence isn't to Sophie. It's to Ethan. A plea, a confession, a surrender. Ethan stares, breathes slow. His jaw tightens. Yeah, he mutters. I figured that out the second the porch light went out. Outside, the engine hums, still waiting. Inside. Ava's hand lowers, fingers brushing the floor, but not Sophie's hand. Not yet. Not yet. The hum of the SUV engine fades, but not because it leaves, because the door opens. A figure steps out. Not loud, not rushing, just certain. A man, mid-50s, tailored suit, shoes too clean for gravel, his hands in his pockets, his gaze cold, heavy, the kind of man who's never needed to raise his voice, because everyone listens anyway. Julian Mercer. Ava sees him and goes still, like her spine turns to stone, like every muscle in her body forgets how to move. Sophie watches, breath caught, fingers white-knuckled around her camera. Julian doesn't approach the door, doesn't knock, just stands there, hands behind his back, waiting. Because power doesn't chase, it waits and lets others come undone. Inside, the silence turns solid. Ava grips the edge of the counter, her breath sharp. He's here. Ethan steps closer, not to the door, to her. Yeah, I figured. Noah edges closer to Sophie, both of them watching, wide-eyed, silent. Then something happens, small, quiet, almost nothing. Ava's fingers, shaking, reach out, and Ethan, without thinking, reaches too, not big, not dramatic, just his hand, closing over hers, warm, calloused, steady, a reflex, or maybe not. For a split second, neither of them looks at each other. They both stare at the window, at the man outside, but their hands stay locked. Sophie sees it, notices it before either of them does. Her fingers twitch toward the camera. She lifts it, slowly, carefully. No one notices. No one stops her. Click. The sound is tiny, almost nothing. But in that split second, the world holds its breath. In the frame, Ava, strong but cracking. Ethan, steady but uncertain. Their hands intertwined, and behind them, the dark shape of the SUV, the shadow of something bigger, heavier, waiting. Sophie lowers the camera, looks at the photo in her hand. It isn't perfect. The framing's off. The focus soft, but it's real, proof of something neither of them is ready to say out loud. Ava squeezes Ethan's hand. Tiny, barely there, but real. I don't... She swallows. I don't know what happens now. Ethan's thumb brushes the back of her knuckles. Yeah, me neither. For the first time, maybe ever, Neither of them pretends to know. And weirdly, that feels like enough. Outside, Julian takes a step forward, still slow, still patient. Ethan releases Ava's hand, only then turns, steps toward the door but doesn't open it, just stands, waiting. Ava breathes deep, follows, her fingers twitch like wanting to grab his hand again. But she doesn't. Sophie lingers behind, camera in her lap, the photo still warm from the instant print. Noah edges closer, lowers his voice. "Why'd you take that?" Sophie doesn't answer right away, just stares at the photo, then, quietly, "Because maybe." She bites her lip. "Maybe that's what family looks like sometimes." Outside, the man in the suit raises a single hand, a wave, not a threat, not yet, just a signal inside. 4 people breathe together, not quite safe, not quite broken, but together. Julian Mercer doesn't knock, he doesn't have to, he stands there, hands folded behind his back, like a man surveying something he already owns. His presence so heavy, it presses against the windows, the walls, the very air inside the shop. Ava grips the counter, shoulders square, but her fingers tremble. Her mouth tightens, fighting back everything she's carried for years. Ethan stands next to her, arms crossed, jaw set. Noah and Sophie crouch behind the counter, quiet, watching, breathing shallow. Then the knock comes. Not loud, just deliberate. The kind of knock that says, "This isn't a request." Ethan doesn't flinch, doesn't move. "You expecting someone else?" he mutters without looking at Ava. Ava swallows. "No." Another knock. Same rhythm, same weight. Ethan breathes in, out. Then he steps forward, unlocks the deadbolt, opens the door. Just enough. Julian tilts his head, smiles, not warm, not real, just practiced, weaponized. "Ah, you must be the mechanic." Ethan doesn't smile back. "And you must be the problem." For a half second, the air shifts, like even Julian wasn't expecting that. Then that smile sharpens. "Let's not waste time." His voice is silk, wrapped around steel. "You have something that belongs to me." Ava steps forward, jaw tight. "No, you don't get to say that, not anymore." Julian doesn't even look at her, keeps his gaze on Ethan. "I'm offering a solution." Ethan raises an eyebrow. "Yeah? What kind?" "A simple one." Julian's smile never shifts. "You step aside. Hand over my granddaughter. Ava comes home. This unfortunate little rebellion ends. No police, no courts. Clean, quiet." Sophie stiffens behind the counter. Her hands grip the camera so tight her knuckles turn white. Ava's breath shudders. "She's not yours." Julian glances at her barely. "She's Mercer blood, and Mercer blood stays where it belongs." His gaze swings back to Ethan. "You don't belong in this conversation. You are, what's the word?" He taps his chin. "A detour, a distraction. Someone who thinks," he gestures vaguely, "that a coffee machine and a pile of wrenches can stop men like me." Silence, heavy. Ethan breathes, slow, steady. Then he does something no one expects. He smiles, small, sharp, no humor, no fear. "Well, here's the thing." He steps fully into the doorway now, straightens, shoulders square, voice steady. "I'm done running coffee." He jerks his chin towards Sophie behind the window. "And I'm done pretending. This isn't my fight." Ava turns, blinks. "Ethan?" Ethan's eyes stay locked on Julian. "You want her?" He nods toward the kids. Then you go through me. Julian's smile falters. Just a crack. Barely. But it's there. Careful. His voice lowers. This doesn't end well for you. Ethan doesn't move. Maybe. But it ends different. Behind him, Noah whispers to Sophie. What's happening? Sophie doesn't take her eyes off Ethan. He's choosing. Ava steps closer. For the first time, not behind Ethan, but beside him, shoulder to shoulder. Her hand brushes his, finds his fingers, grips tight. Julian notices, his eyes narrow. The mask slips for half a breath. You think this matters? His voice sharpens. You think standing there, holding hands, changes anything? Ethan's jaw tightens. Yeah, I do. Ava adds, voice low, but steady. She's not yours. She's not your legacy. Not your pawn. Her voice hardens. She's mine, and she gets to be hers. Julian exhales, slow, cold. Very well. He steps back, adjusts his cuffs, looks over his shoulder at the SUV. Two men inside, waiting, watching. Julian's eyes flick back to Ethan. This isn't finished. Ethan steps forward, 1 foot over the threshold, not a threat, just a line in the dirt. Yeah, his voice lowers. It is, you just don't know it yet. Julian's mouth tightens, his eyes harden. Then he turns, walks back to the SUV, door shuts, engine hums. But they don't leave. Not yet. Inside the shop. Ava exhales. Her legs buckle. She leans into Ethan, doesn't let go of his hand. Sophie lifts the camera, click, captures it. The sound is soft. But in this moment it's the loudest thing in the world. The SUV is still there, waiting, like a shadow glued to the street. Inside Fix and Sip. Something shifts. The air doesn't feel like panic anymore. It feels like resolve. Ethan grabs his phone, scrolls, finds a name, a number, hits dial. His thumb drums against the counter faster than his breathing. Ava's pacing, back and forth, back and forth. Her bare feet on the hardwood make a soft, repetitive sound. Her hair's a mess, her blazer tossed over a chair, her heels long gone. Her hands tremble, but not from fear now, from adrenaline, from something sharper, cleaner. Ethan's call connects. Frank, it's Ethan. I know it's been a while. Yeah. Long story, listen. I need a lawyer, a real one. The kind who doesn't flinch when the other guy walks in with 10. Pause. Ethan nods. Yeah, that's the one. Call her, now, please. He hangs up, exhales, looks at Ava. You? Ava taps her phone like it's a detonator. Her voice is clipped, sharp. Jenna, wake up your team. I'm sending over a file. Everything. Every offshore account. Every asset buried under shell companies. Every boardroom deal with dirty fingerprints. She pauses. Her jaw clenches. And no, I don't care if it burns my name too. Light it up. Another pause. Her voice softens, but it's steel wrapped in silk. This isn't about winning anymore, it's about ending it. She hangs up, drops the phone onto the table, lets out a long, shaky breath. Then presses her palms flat against the table's edge, head down. Ethan watches. You just handed them your whole career. Ava looks up. Her eyes aren't scared, just clear. What good's a career if I lose her? For the first time. Ethan doesn't have an answer. He just nods. Fair? Sophie watches from the corner, huddled next to Noah, her camera clutched in her lap. But she doesn't raise it. Not now. Not for this. Noah whispers, Are we still hiding? Sophie shakes her head. Tiny. Barely there. No, we're fighting now. Outside, the SUV idles. Engine hums. Unbothered. Inside, Ava's fingers fly across her laptop. Files open, screenshots fly, confidential emails, contracts, paper trails her father always thought were buried deep enough never to be found. Ethan flips the open sign to closed, locks the door, pulls the blinds, moves through the shop with the same steady hands he uses to fix bikes, rebuild engines, fix broken things that people gave up on. His voice is low, steady. You sure about this? Ava doesn't look up. Were you, when you opened this place? Ethan grins, dry. Hell no. Ava smirks, just a flicker. Then yeah, I'm sure. Another window closes. Another file uploads. Another secret set free. The plan isn't perfect. It's patched together with duct tape, desperation, and whatever's left of two people who spent their whole lives learning how to fight the wrong battles. Until now. But it's a plan. And for the first time, they're not running. The SUV hasn't moved. Not an inch. It just waits. Engine idling. Windows blacked out, headlights off now. The kind of stillness that doesn't come from patience, but power. Inside fix and sip, the air feels heavier, thicker. Like it takes more effort just to breathe. Ava sits at the far end of the table, laptop still open, fingers frozen mid-keystroke. Not because there's nothing left to do, but because there's too much. Ethan paces back and forth, the same 5 steps, then turn, then again. His thumb runs over the scar on his knuckle, an old habit when his head spins faster than he wants to admit. Noah stacks nuts and bolts into a crooked tower. Knock it down, build it again, knock it down, build it again, over and over. Sophie sits in the window seat, legs pulled up, camera in her lap, but for once, she doesn't raise it. Just watches. Ava finally exhales, long, controlled, or at least pretending to be. I hate this part. Ethan stops. What part? She presses her palms to her thighs. The waiting. It's always the worst part. Ethan nods, slowly. Yeah, you'd think you get used to it, but you don't. Noah speaks without looking up. Are they gonna come in? Silence. No one answers right away. Ava runs a hand through her hair. Her fingers tremble. No, not yet. They want us scared first, nervous, second-guessing. That's the Mercer way. Ethan crosses his arms. Well, they're not wrong. His jaw tightens. It's working. Sophie's voice is small, careful. What if we just left? Ava looks over. Something cracks behind her eyes. Then they win, and they don't stop. Ever. Sophie hugs her knees tighter. Doesn't ask again. The clock ticks, loud, obnoxious, too loud for something that small. Outside. Nothing moves. Ethan finally stops pacing, plants himself next to the window, peeks through the gap in the blinds. His breath fogs the glass. Still there? Ava doesn't ask. She already knows. Her fingers tap the table. Her eyes flick to her phone. No updates. No missed calls. Nothing. The quiet becomes noise. Ethan rubs the back of his neck. His voice drops. You think they'll wait all night? Ava nods. They've waited years for this. What's one more night? Silence. Then, Noah knocks over his tower again. This time doesn't rebuild it, just stares at the pieces scattered on the floor. I don't like this game, Sophie whispers. Me neither. Ethan breathes slow. Yeah, well, thing about games, his voice lowers. You only lose if you stop playing. Ava glances over. Her mouth twitches. That sounds like something stitched on a pillow in a bad therapist's office. For a half second, just a breath, Ethan lets out a dry, tired laugh. Yeah, well, it's all I got. Ava closes the laptop, stares at the black screen. Her reflection looks older, tired, but maybe sharper too. I spent my whole life thinking if I played by their rules, I could win, outwork them, outsmart them, make myself too valuable to control. Her voice drops. I was wrong. Ethan doesn't correct her, doesn't soften it. Yeah, you were. She nods, but not this time. A long, heavy pause. Then, outside, the SUV's engine shuts off. The silence that follows isn't relief. It's worse. It's the kind of quiet that makes your skin crawl, that makes you wish the engine was still running, because at least then, you knew where the threat was. Ethan grips the edge of the counter. His knuckles go white. All right. His voice lowers. Heads up. Noah presses closer to Sophie. Now what? Sophie doesn't answer, because no one knows. The waiting just got quieter, but not safer. It happens without warning. No footsteps, no knock, no threats, just the engine, roaring back to life. Ethan's head snaps toward the window. He yanks the blinds just enough to peek. His heart kicks, then stalls. They're leaving. Ava stumbles forward. What? The SUV pulls away, slow, controlled, like it was never in a hurry, never bothered, no tire squeal, no dramatics, just gone. Ethan watches the taillights disappear. His fists stay clenched, like his body doesn't believe it yet. That's it? His voice is low, disbelieving. They just leave? Noah pops up from behind the counter, wide-eyed. Wait, does that mean we win? Sophie doesn't move, doesn't speak. Her arms are tight around her knees, as if she lets go, the floor might fall out from under her. Ava stares at the empty street. Her mouth opens, nothing comes out. Then, finally, she exhales. No, this isn't over. It's not how he works. She steps back, runs both hands through her hair. Her blazer's wrinkled. Her heels are still kicked somewhere under the table. Her lipstick half faded. She looks undone. Not broken, but undone. Ethan turns, leans against the wall. His hands tremble just enough that he presses them into his jeans to hide it. So, what? They're regrouping? Ava shakes her head. No, not regrouping. Retaliating somewhere else. Somewhere bigger. She laughs. Bitter. Hollow. Somewhere I can't see coming. Her voice cracks. You don't get it. I burned it all. I pulled the pin and threw the grenade at everything that ever built me. Every bridge, every safety net, every backdoor deal, every person who ever owed me a favor. Her chest rises, falls. Her fingers knot together. I don't have a place to go back to anymore. Silence. No one interrupts. Because what do you say to that? Sophie's voice finally breaks through. Small, quiet. You have us. Ava blinks, turns, looks at her daughter, really looks, and for the first time, maybe in years, she sees her. Not the version in report cards, not the version updated by nannies, not the version in quarterly visitation schedules, just her, Sophie, a real person. Ava swallows hard, her voice barely there. I don't know how to be that. Ethan pushes off the wall, his arms crossed, his gaze softer now but still steady. Good news. He nods toward Noah, who's sitting cross-legged, fiddling with a bent screwdriver. None of us knew either, until we had to. Ava lets out a shaky breath. God, I don't even know where we sleep tonight. Ethan shrugs, dry. Well, you're already here. Ava's brow furrows. Here? Yeah. He taps the wooden beam over the counter. It leaks when it rains. The heater makes a noise like a dying cat. And the coffee machine's older than half the furniture, but it's dry, warm, and his voice softens. No one's coming through that door tonight. Noah pipes up. Also, the couch pulls out. Sophie smiles, tiny, the smallest smile, but the first real one in hours. Ava stares. Something flickers in her. A memory of who she used to be. A memory of who she might still get to become. I don't... She trails off, but Ethan cuts her off. Gentle. Yeah, you do. A long breath. Heavy. But this time, not crushing. Ava looks around at the stained floors, at the cluttered counter, at the crooked open sign, then at Sophie, then back to Ethan. And for the first time, she lets the truth fall out. I don't have a home anymore. Ethan doesn't flinch, doesn't look away, just nods. Then I guess this is as good a place as any to build one. The porch light, still dead, but inside something else turns on, something warmer, something that doesn't come from wires or switches, something that might just last. The morning comes, quieter than anyone expected. No SUV, no headlights, no tension humming under the skin, just stillness. The kind of stillness that doesn't mean safe yet, but maybe means possible. Ethan stands behind the counter, flipping pancakes with a focus that makes it look like surgery. Flour dusts the edge of his sleeve. His hair sticks out in 3 different directions. Noah sets the table. 2 mismatched mugs, a chipped plate, a fork bent slightly sideways. He hums under his breath, a little out of tune, but happy. Ava leans against the doorway, barefoot, holding a mug of coffee like it's the only thing tethering her to gravity. Her blazer's gone. Her hair's a mess. There's no makeup hiding the exhaustion on her face, but somehow she looks more real than she ever has. And Sophie sits on the old wooden bench by the window, her Polaroid camera balanced on her knees. Her thumb runs over the shutter, back and forth. But she hasn't clicked it yet, because something about this morning feels different, feels important. Ethan flips the last pancake onto the plate. All right, breakfast's up. Everybody sits. Ava raises an eyebrow. Is this the rule? Ethan smirks. In this house? Yeah. Noah laughs. He has a lot of weird rules. Darn right. Ethan grins, wiping his hands on a towel. Rule 1, if you're here when the coffee's brewing, you stay for pancakes. Ava walks to the table, slides into a chair. Guess I'm staying then. Her voice is lighter, a little. Sophie watches them, watches the way Noah nudges a plate toward her, the way Ethan leans in to slice pancakes for him without being asked, the way Ava hesitates, then reaches to pour syrup over Noah's plate like it's the most natural thing in the world. Like, it's just family. Something soft curls in Sophie's chest, something unfamiliar, scary, but good. She lifts the camera. Fingers hover. Click. The shutter snaps. The machine hums softly. Spits out the photo. None of them notice. They're too busy passing butter, arguing over whether pancakes should have blueberries or chocolate chips. Sophie shakes the photo slowly, carefully. As the image fades in, she holds her breath. There, it's crooked, a little blurry. Ethan's mid-laugh. Noah's got pancake syrup on his chin. Ava's looking down, caught mid-pour. A strand of hair falling into her face. But it's perfect. No posing, no stiff smiles, no polished perfection, just a moment. Her moment. Her family. Sophie presses the photo flat on her knee. runs her thumb over it like it's the most fragile thing in the world. And for the first time, the space behind her ribs doesn't feel so hollow. Noah looks over. "Did you just take a picture of my pancake face?" Sophie grins, small. "Yeah." Ethan leans back, glancing over her shoulder. "Good. Somebody ought to document this disaster." Ava doesn't say anything. She just watches. Watches Sophie smile. Watches Noah laugh. Watches Ethan lean back, like he's exactly where he's supposed to be. And maybe, just maybe, so is she. Sophie slides the photo into the crack between the window frame and the wall. Not hidden, not framed, just placed, like it belongs there, like it always did. The sun climbs higher, warmer now, softer. The kind of morning that feels borrowed, like it wasn't promised but showed up anyway. Out back, behind Fix and Sip, Ethan stands in front of an old rusted bike, bent frame, flat tires, a busted chain. He crouches. Fingers run over the metal, testing, checking, noticing the same way a sculptor notices marble. Ava leans against the doorframe, watching. "Looks like it hasn't moved in years." Ethan grins. "Yeah, pretty much." He tightens a bolt. "Been sitting back here since, I don't even know. Belonged to a kid from the neighborhood years ago. Kid outgrew it, left it. I always meant to fix it." Ava steps closer. "Why now?" Ethan shrugs, wipes his hands on a rag. "Because now, there's someone who needs it." Ava tilts her head, watches the way his hands move. Steady, sure, careful. "You're really doing this for her?" Ethan glances up. "Yeah, I am." No big speeches, no grand gestures, just that. Ava crosses her arms, half a smile tugs at her lips. "You know, for a guy who says he doesn't know anything about being a parent, you're doing okay." Ethan chuckles, tightens another bolt. "Fake it till you make it." She watches for a beat longer. Something about the rhythm of his hands, the scrape of metal, the clink of tools. It's calming, grounding. Inside, Sophie sits at the window, camera on her knees. She doesn't know what Ethan's doing. Not exactly. But she watches. Quiet, curious. Noah pops his head around the door. "What you doing?" Ethan leans back, wiping sweat from his brow. "Trying to make this old thing writable." Noah steps closer. "Why?" Ethan pauses, picks up a screwdriver. "Because sometimes, when things are broken, you don't throw them away." He glances up, smirks. "You fix them, even if it's hard, even if it takes longer than you thought." Noah nods, thinks about that. "Like families?" Ethan's hands slow, his gaze softens. "Yeah, exactly like that." Ava watches, doesn't say anything, but the words sink deeper than she expects. Ethan gets back to work, fixes the chain, pumps the tires, oils the gears, checks, rechecks every movement. Quiet, focused. Like this matters more than anything else right now. By the time the sun tips toward afternoon, he stands back, hands on hips. It's not perfect, the paint's still chipped, the frame's got a dent that won't come out. But the wheels turn, the brakes work, the chain holds, it rides. Ava crosses her arms, smirks. "You know, it's kinda ugly." Ethan grins. "Yeah, but it's hers." Inside, Sophie presses her face to the glass, watching, still not knowing, but sensing something. Ethan walks over, kneels, checks the final bolt, then, quietly, without fanfare, ties a piece of twine to the handlebars. No bow, just a knot, simple, honest. Ava tilts her head. "No wrapping paper?" He glances back, smirks. Yeah, she's smart, she'll get it. And maybe that's the point. Maybe some gifts don't need to be wrapped. Maybe some things don't are better when they show their dents, their scratches, the proof they were broken, and someone cared enough to fix them. The sunlight feels different now. Warmer, softer, the kind that wraps around you instead of burning through. Sophie's laughter echoes down the street. She pedals the old, half-rusted bike, the one Ethan spent the whole morning fixing, wobbling a little at first, then steadier, stronger. The twine knot still flutters from the handlebars. No ribbons, no shiny bows, just the truth. Noah runs beside her. Turn, turn, watch out for the curb! Sophie laughs, wobbles, but makes the turn. I got it! Her voice isn't small anymore. It carries, fills the air. Ethan leans against the porch railing, arms crossed, a grin tucked at the corner of his mouth, watching. Just watching. Ava stands beside him, coffee in hand, half cold now. She watches too, silent for a long beat. Then, her voice, low, careful, like testing the weight of the words before giving them air. You know, she taps her thumb against the coffee cup. I used to think family was structure. Ethan glances over. Structure? She nods, doesn't look at him, looks at the kids. Yeah, like a blueprint, a formula. You put the right pieces in the right place, the schools, the house, the schedule, the achievements. Her voice tightens, and it holds. Ethan doesn't interrupt, just listens. Ava's eyes stay on Sophie, watching her steer around Noah, watching the sunlight catch in her hair, watching her daughter look like a kid again. But I was wrong. Her voice softens. It's not structure, it's not perfect, it's not clean lines and sharp corners. Her fingers wrap tighter around the mug. Maybe family is just the people who don't leave. She swallows, her throat tightens. The people who stay, especially when it's hard. Ethan's grip on the railing shifts, loosens. Yeah. His voice is lower now. Yeah, I think that's about right. Ava lets out a breath, half laugh, half sigh. God, I never said that out loud before. Ethan leans back, lets his shoulder bump hers, not hard, not even intentional, just gravity. Well, now you have. They watch, together. Sophie makes another loop, faster now, confident. Her laughter tangles with Noah's, like wind chimes caught in a breeze. Ava's eyes glisten. She doesn't wipe them, doesn't pretend it's anything else. For so long, her voice shakes. I thought, if I just worked harder, if I just built enough walls, Charlotte would be safe. Ethan doesn't correct her on the name, doesn't need to, not anymore. Ava looks down at her hands. But maybe she never needed walls. Her gaze lifts, finds Sophie again. Maybe she just needed this. Ethan's jaw tightens. Yeah, turns out a porch light and pancakes fix more than people think. Ava laughs, a real one, cracks open something inside her. I don't know how to do this, Ethan. He glances over. None of us do. We just show up, and we keep showing up. A pause, then softer. And if it breaks, we fix it. Ava tilts her head, looks at him, really looks. For the first time, she lets herself believe he means it. Sophie skids the bike to a stop, breathless, grinning. Did you see that? Did you see? Noah throws his hands up. You almost hit the mailbox. I didn't. Sophie beams. Ava steps off the porch, crosses the gravel, drops to her knees and opens her arms. Sophie doesn't even hesitate. She crashes into her mother's arms, laughing, breathing hard, but not scared. Not holding back. Not anymore. Ava buries her face in Sophie's hair, her voice muffled. "I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry." Sophie squeezes tighter. "It's okay. You're here now." Ethan watches. Quiet. No words needed. Ava lifts her head, looks back at him. Her eyes softer, clearer. Maybe home isn't a place." Her voice wavers. "Maybe it's just the people who don't let go." Ethan nods. "Yeah, sounds about right." And for the first time, none of them are running. Not anymore. The porch light flickers, then clicks on. For the first time in weeks, it stays on. It's small. Almost nothing. Just a bulb in a metal frame. But somehow, it feels like everything. Inside Fix and Sip, the smell of fresh coffee swirls with warm cinnamon and something sweet on the griddle. Noah stacks chairs. His little hands grip the wooden backs, dragging them into place with more enthusiasm than precision. "Pancakes or waffles today?" he asks, already knowing the answer but asking anyway. Ethan chuckles from behind the counter. "Waffles! Gotta switch it up sometimes. House rule." Sophie, no, Charlotte, spins on her heel, balancing 2 mugs in her hands. 2 oat lattes. One with honey, one with... Wait! She squints at the receipt taped to the counter. "Almond syrup?" Ava leans over her shoulder, grinning. "Yep, for Mr. Campbell. He's predictable." Charlotte nods, grinning. "Got it." The door chimes as regulars file in. Familiar faces, a couple in their 70s who always argue over crossword puzzles, a college kid with headphones buried in coding homework, a tired nurse still in scrubs clutching caffeine like it's a life raft, and every single one. Pauses, looks up, notices something. The energy's different today. Not louder, not flashier. Just fuller. Ethan flips waffles, wipes his hands, calls out orders, leans over to tweak the finicky espresso machine. Still humming, still temperamental, but working. Ava wipes down a table, tosses a dish towel over her shoulder like she's done it for years, even though it's barely been days. Charlotte runs a plate to a customer, then hops up on the stool behind the counter. "Dad," she starts, pauses, lets the word settle, rolls it around, tries it on. Ethan hears it, freezes for half a second, not because he's surprised, but because, yeah, that word still fits weird, like a jacket you didn't know was yours, but turns out it is. Then he turns, smiles. "Yeah, kiddo?" Charlotte grins wider. "Nothing, just checking." Ava watches the exchange. Her fingers tighten just slightly around the edge of the table. Not out of fear, not hesitation, just the realization. This is real now, not perfect, not clean, not planned, but real. Noah bounces over. "Charlotte, want to help me put out the cookies?" She hops off the stool. "Yeah, let's do it." Together, They carry the mismatched tray of slightly uneven cookies to the front counter. Chocolate chip. Oatmeal raisin. One that's probably supposed to be peanut butter but came out looking uncertain. Charlotte arranges them carefully. Noah sneaks one when he thinks no one's looking. Ethan pretends not to notice. Ava catches his eye across the room, tilts her head. "This," her voice lowers, "this isn't what I pictured when I thought about starting over." Ethan dries his hands, leans against the counter. "Yeah, same." His smile softens. But maybe that's the point. Ava breathes in, looks around, watches Noah and Charlotte squabble over cookie placement, watches the regulars sipping coffee, watches the porch light, still glowing. Maybe home was never about walls. Maybe it was just about finding the people who leave the light on for you. The wall wasn't always special, just a plain, chipped section of drywall behind the counter, stained from years of coffee splashes, thumbtack holes, and sunlight that faded it unevenly. But now, it's something else. Charlotte stands there, thumb rubbing the corner of a small square photo. Her fingers tremble, not from nerves, just from how much this matters. Ava stands beside her, quiet, letting her daughter lead for once, not directing, not correcting. Ethan leans behind the counter, arms crossed, watching, waiting, no pressure, just there. In Charlotte's hand, two pictures. The first cracked, water-stained, a little warped at the edges. The photo she took the first night. It's a bad photo, technically speaking, half-framed, blurry, a crooked shot of the porch light, flickering, about to die. A silhouette in the corner, barely visible, of Ethan standing there, uncertain, arms crossed, watching her like someone trying to figure out if this was real or a mistake. The one from breakfast, syrup on Noah's chin. Ava caught mid-laugh, hand frozen halfway to pouring coffee. Ethan leaning back, pretending not to smile, but absolutely smiling. A family, imperfect, unscripted. Charlotte breathes in, holds both pictures together, then presses a thumbtack through the corner, pushes them into the wall side by side, the first and the last, a circle closed, a story finished. Or maybe just beginning. Ava crosses her arms, tilts her head, her voice soft, careful. "You sure about putting the first one up?" Charlotte nods. "Yeah, because that's where it started." Her thumb brushes the edge of the damaged photo. "When I wasn't sure if anyone was ever gonna find me, or if I even wanted them to." Her voice wobbles but doesn't break. "And now," she taps the second photo, "and now I know." Ava's eyes glisten. She doesn't blink it away, doesn't hide it. Ethan pushes off the counter, grabs an old marker, hands it to Charlotte. "Label it." His voice soft, warm. "Tell it what it is." Charlotte bites her lip, thinks, then crouches, writes beneath the first photo, letters a little crooked. "Before," then under the second, "home." Simple. Nothing else. No dates. No explanations. Because the people who matter already know the story. Ava reads it, blinks hard. "God!" She laughs softly. "You're something else, kid." Charlotte grins. "I know." Noah runs over. "Can I put one up too?" Ethan nods. "Rule change. Anybody can. Anything that matters goes on the wall." Ava tilts her head. "Is that an official rule?" Ethan smirks. "Just made it." Charlotte steps back, looks at the wall. It's still mostly empty, but not for long. Because now, it's a wall for things worth remembering. Things that didn't break, or did, but someone cared enough to fix. A customer glances over, sees the photos, smiles. "Cute wall," they say casually. Ethan glances at Ava, at Charlotte. His smile widens. "Yeah, it is." And for the first time, it doesn't feel like a coffee shop patched together with duct tape and second chances. It feels like home. The sun dips, the sky shifts from gold to pink, to that deep blue where the first stars start to whisper. Inside fix and sip, chairs are stacked, counters wiped, coffee pots cleaned and empty. But no one's in a hurry. Noah's sitting cross-legged on the floor, sorting bolts into jars that don't actually need sorting. Charlotte's perched on the window seat, camera in her lap, but she's not taking pictures right now. Just watching. Ava leans against the doorway, coffee mug in hand, empty, but still warm in her palms. Ethan stands out front on a step stool, wrench in one hand, a screwdriver tucked behind his ear above him. The old wooden sign. Crooked, faded, letters peeling. Fix and sip, bike repairs and coffee. It's been like that for years. Always a little askew, always threatening to fall, but never quite does. Ethan tightens the bolts, steps back, tilts his head. Something's missing. Ava steps outside, crosses her arms, watches him. What are you doing? Ethan pulls a folded piece of paper from his pocket. Taped to the sign is a new line, written in paint, crooked, uneven, hand-done, but perfect. He steps back, lets her read it. We fix bikes, and sometimes broken hearts. Ava stares for a beat. 2. Her lips twitch. You're insufferably corny. Ethan grins. Yeah, but it's not wrong. Charlotte steps out, reads it, tilts her head. I like it. Her voice is soft. It's true. Noah runs out behind her. Can we fix broken video game controllers too? Ethan laughs. Sure, kid, if we can figure out how. They all stand there, on the sidewalk. 4 people who 2 weeks ago didn't know they'd ever be standing here together. Not like this, not as this. A family. A beat of silence. Comfortable. Soft. Ava crosses her arms tighter, looks at the sign, her voice gentler now. Ethan. She hesitates, then lets it fall out. Thank you for everything. Ethan shrugs. Didn't really plan it, just happened. Charlotte looks up at both of them, eyes wide, curious. Do you think broken things always find the people who know how to fix them? Ava kneels, brushes a strand of hair behind Charlotte's ear. Maybe. Her voice cracks, just a little. Or maybe we learn how because we have to. Noah tugs on Ethan's shirt. Can we leave the porch light on? Tonight? Ethan ruffles his hair. Yeah, buddy, we leave it on. Charlotte smiles. Leave it on forever. Ava stands, breathes deep, looks at the shop, the cracked windows, the squeaky door, the crooked sign, the porch light, humming, and realizes she doesn't want perfect anymore. She wants this, exactly this. Ethan picks up the step stool, heads toward the door, glances back over his shoulder. Come on, waffles for dinner? Charlotte gasps. Wait, we can do waffles for dinner? Ava laughs. Apparently, that's house rule number 3. Noah throws both hands up. Best house ever. The 4 of them pile inside. The door swings shut. The closed sign flips, and out front. The porch light stays on, for anyone passing by, for anyone lost, for anyone looking for a place, but for where broken things and broken hearts aren't thrown away. They're fixed. One piece, one cup of coffee, one morning, or one dinner of waffles at a time. The porch light stays on. No one says it, but everyone feels it. It's not just a bulb, not just a shop, not just a place where broken bikes get patched back together. It's a place where people do too, a place where a sign now reads, we fix bikes, and sometimes broken hearts. Charlotte presses her latest photo to the wall, right next to the first one. Full circle. Ava glances up at the light glowing steady against the evening sky. You think we should leave it on? She asks. Ethan chuckles. Yeah, I think we always should. The camera lingers on the sign. The laughter fades into the background. The glow of the porch light softens, warm against the night. If this story touched something in you, leave the light on for us. A like, a subscribe, maybe even a share. It keeps these quiet little stories alive. For anyone out there still looking for a place that feels like home.